What do you got for us in sports, Pete? I'm sure you've been chomping at the bit to get back here and give us the 411 download on sports, so please do.
All right, we're going to jump to the WNBA and Caitlin Clark. And I know that this conversation has been going on forever, but the thing that people don't all probably follow is this. They had a $60 million deal with the media. Well, it's suddenly gone to $200 million deal per year. And it's only, 11 years, $2.2 billion, John. Not so bad. Why do you suppose that is, Caitlin Clark? Anyway, when you look at what we've got with the WNBA right now, they should absolutely be the nicest people in the world to Caitlin Clark, because she has brought the attention level at every single, whether it's the season tickets being sold at home or every single game that's played outside of Indiana. Minnesota here, 19,000 people went to that game. 19,000 to a WNBA game, John. You've got a great team yourself in Chicago with Angel Reese. Anytime those two are on the court together, and this whole thing that they had in college and all that stuff at LSU and Iowa, let me tell you something. Caitlin Clark is getting paid $76,000. She was making over $1 million NIL when she was at Iowa. She could have gone back one more year, by the way. She didn't. But she's making so much money, John, everywhere else. And now, how are these players feeling about the fact that we've gone from $60 million to $200 million? They better feel pretty good, and they ought to point to the money honey. And the money honey is Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, and surprisingly, though, the WNBA continues to shoot itself in the foot, Pete. Mm-hmm. They have stars like Caitlin Clark, like that gal last year that won the three-point shootout, set a record for the WNBA in three-point shooting. She wasn't invited back for three-point shooting this year. Neither was Caitlin Clark. So WNBA, look at yourselves in the mirror, guys, gals on that board, and figure out what exactly is going on if you're not putting your biggest stars out there. It's not like Caitlin Clark said, no, I won't go out there and shoot threes. It's not like the gal that won it last year says, I don't want to shoot threes anymore. Anyway, what else you got, Pete?
All right, NFL training camps. I think what's really interesting here, John, is over time, it used to be the greatest thing in the world. The Vikings went to Mankato. You had Kansas City coming up to River Falls, Wisconsin. We had the Cheese League up there with Green Bay. We also, I think it was St. Louis maybe, and then maybe the Chicago Bears not far away. All of us up there, and every once in a while you'd get those practices. 21 of the 31 teams back in 2000, and there were only 31 then, but 21 of those teams would go out to somewhere fun, somewhere at a school. They're doing the whole thing where you're eating, you've got a dorm room, you're eating in the dorms, the cafeteria, you got your own chefs there, of course. That's not so bad. It's football 24/7. But 2021, COVID, blah, 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 only 6 teams went to these, of the 32 teams then, went to these travel away camps where you're going to some university somewhere that's very, very small, or it could even be a college. Matter of fact, 2024, it's actually up a little bit. 8 of 32 teams are going on these camps. I think personally, it makes sense. It brings guys together. They're all hanging out. It's not as convenient as being right in Kansas City, right in Minneapolis, right in downtown Chicago. It's none of that. And that way you get everybody together. You get that whole thing where there is this brotherhood that you piece together as a team. I like that a lot. And I think the other thing is, I don't know if I agree or disagree, but it certainly has worked. But when you look at Kansas City and you look at what the coaches decided to do there, John, they do not do these practices, these joint practices with other teams. Now, he says, look, that's what the preseason's for. Everybody knows there's a preseason. Well, what the preseason's for is to try to figure out who's going to actually make the teams and all the rest of that. You already know who the starters are going to be, but you got to see who some of these backups are going to be. And he believes that that's the spot to do that. I don't know if I agree with that, but certainly a guy who's won a lot of Super Bowls, probably would be the right one I'd follow.